Muy buenas tardes, caballeros, ¿qué tal estáis? Muy buenas, muy buenas. Bueno, pues aquí estamos en vuestro canal favorito de Xbox, por supuesto. Un día más, una noche más. Y hoy, pues como habéis visto en la portada y en el título del vídeo, vamos a reaccionar en directo, entre muchas comillas, ¿no? A un gameplay que han sacado de Midnight Sun, no sé si lo he dicho bien, pero me da igual, de Marvel, el juego este de 2K, ¿no? Si no me equivoco, era el Midnight Sun. Correcto, 2K, lo estaba ahora revisando, de 2K. Juego de Marvel que sorprendió mucho, que salen personajes como Wolverine, personajes como Doctor Strange. La verdad es que es un juego que me sorprendió y me gustó verlo, además de que confío mucho en 2K, en lo que puede hacer una compañía como 2K, como Take-Two, ¿no? Detrás de un juego de Marvel. Se le ha dado ya la oportunidad a Square Enix y parece que Square Enix no levanta mucho la cabeza, ¿no? Con juegos de Marvel. Y que 2K esté detrás de un juego, como mínimo, me hace sospechar de que dará la talla. ¿Vale? De 2K la verdad es que tiene un nivelazo tremendo a la hora de desarrollar juegos y pues tengo mucha confianza, ¿no? Que a lo mejor luego es patraña y no sirve para nada el juego, que puede ser. Pero de entrada me gusta. Y la gente de IGN ha sacado, bueno, hicieron como una especie de evento cortito que dura aproximadamente 20 minutos, es decir, es un evento que hicieron cortito en el cual los desarrolladores hablaron más del videojuego, además de acompañar esa charla con imágenes gameplay del propio juego. Gameplay, ¿eh? Cosa que estoy muy curioso de ver qué el concepto del juego y cómo será. Así que vamos a hacer esto, vamos a reaccionar en directo al gameplay de Midnight Sun de 2K. Pero antes de eso, suscribiros, aprovechad, ¿no? Antes de este parón, pues lo tenéis que aprovechar para suscribiros, para dejar el me gusta, que de verdad no cuesta nada. Mientras hago la intro, pues le podéis ir dando a me gusta. Seguidme en Twitter, uniros a mi canal de Discord, podéis haceros miembros del canal por 0,99 si queréis apoyar un poco mi trabajo. Todo lo tenéis ahí en la descripción, así que os invito a que vayáis y le echéis un ojillo. Y ahora sí, vamos a ir ya aquí. Papá, ya tenemos aquí el evento. Perdón. Ya tenemos por aquí el evento. Lo estáis viendo, Midnight Sun, Starting Soon y tal. Le voy a dar a play y vamos a ver, pues, qué nos cuentan, ¿no? Un poquito de este videojuego. Vamos allá. 4, 3, 2, 1, para adentro.
Hi everyone and welcome to our first gameplay live stream of Marvel's Midnight Suns. My name is Caroline Guevara, producer and your host for today. I am joined by two very special guests, Jake Solomon, our creative director.
Very happy to be here. Very happy to finally play the game.
Of course.
La verdad es que el sonido de la grabación es increíble, ¿eh? O sea, hay un eco de la parra. Creo que tengo yo mejor sonido que ellos. Oh, Blade.
Which we are ecstatic to show the world.
Yeah. Finally happy to just be able to play the game.
And you know, it's been a while, and you know, on behalf of the team, before we do dive in, watching the trailer, watching the gameplay assets that came out, it's been incredibly.
La verdad es que con el universo que tiene Marvel, ahora le estaba yo dando vueltas. Con el universo que tiene Marvel y los personajes que tiene Marvel y lo maravilloso que puede ser un juego de superhéroes de Marvel, el único juego decente que ha salido de Marvel es el Spider-Man, tío, de PlayStation. Es una pena, ¿eh? Es una pena lo que ocurrió con el Avengers. Es una pena porque, jolín, cuando nos enteramos de que Square Enix estaba detrás de un... Se me ha cerrado la puerta. Cuando nos enteremos de que Square Enix estaba detrás de un juego de los Vengadores, de Avengers, todo el mundo estaba como contento, como ilusionado. Y me da un poco de pena o de rabia, ¿no? Que no haya triunfado y que no hayan sabido desarrollar eso. Y veremos a ver qué hacen con el tema de los Guardianes de la Galaxia. Y sobre todo seguir muy atentos este Midnight Sun de 2K y veremos a ver lo que hacen. Pero es cierto que de momento el único juego así que realmente tiene un nivelazo es el Spider-Man de PlayStation, que con ese juego sí lo han sabido hacer bien. Pero bueno, confío un montón en 2K, ya lo he dicho, así que vamos a ver qué nos enseñan.
From the community, it really does energize us. We are going to be finishing the game and seeing your guys' love and excitement for what's to come. The team really appreciates it, so thank you all. We've also been listening to your feedback already, very important to us.
Yep, for sure.
And one piece we definitely wanted to touch on was the fact that this game is a premium title, an enormous single-player game that is brimming with content, and we're not going to have gameplay microtransactions.
No.
Importante, ¿eh?
I understand why.
Título, single player y que no va a tener microtransacciones.
No, every ability that your heroes can have, they're in the game. You only earn them by playing.
Hostia, vaya fapas le están dando a Avengers, ¿eh? Porque Avengers, una de las cosas que tiene de Square Enix es que tiene una cantidad de microtransacciones y de micropagos. Tiene el pase ese de batalla, tiene luego que si trajes que los puedes comprar, que si no sé qué. Vaya papas les están dando en la boca a los de Square Enix, aquí en 2K, tú. Básicamente que todo lo que quieras ganar lo vas a ganar jugando, no hay microtransacciones.
Let's go. Let's play, guys. Let's go.
Pues aquí estamos.
We did.
En un gameplay.
No. So, you're in control of the hunter, moving her in real time there. You're at the Abbey, which is an entirely new superhero headquarters that we created with Marvel. Every cool superhero team has to have a cool superhero headquarters. This is ours. We're just showing the exterior. We're going to show more of the Abbey at the end of this mission. Today,
¿Cómo se ve el Doctor Strange, eh? ¿Qué pinta tiene?
This is our hunter. We've talked about how customizable they are. They can look very different from this. We're walking by one of the other characters on the team, Magic, my personal favorite character in the Midnight Suns.
You know, it also was incredibly important to us and the team to have a base that reflected something like we all knew and loved when we were kids with Marvel.
Yeah.
Avengers Tower, X-Men, and the X-Mansion. Now having your own base is such a staple that I think you need to do in a Marvel game. It's something that hasn't been done before. You can have your own.
Yes, and ours, that's a big part of the game, is how it comes alive, how you live with these heroes, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. And so now what we've done is crossed over into this sort of interdimensional space we call Limbo. So Magic opens portals, you walk through Limbo, and you get to your next mission. And that's kind of one of her powers.
Vale, el lugar este es como el Limbo, que son como portales que te van a llevar de una misión a otra.
Yes.
All right,
We're gonna play some combat.
We are going to play some combat.
Combate.
And, you know, we are a tactics team through and through.
¿Es un juego táctico? A lo mejor ya se sabía, pero es un juego táctico. Porque hay tarjetas y cartas aquí debajo.
I'm so proud of the designers we have here and the folks that work with Jake and the creative systems designers. But we've made something that you have not quite seen before when it comes to a tactics game. There's so much when it comes to the visual element of this, characters and how they're going to move and the superhero flair that you're going to see. But first, we wanted to slow down before we start playing this thing fast.
Let's talk
about what the mechanics are
Let's talk about the abilities, right? Because, as you may have heard, the hero's abilities, they're dealt to you at the start of combat, and like a hand of cards.
Cards?
Yeah.
A timeless game mechanic, by the way, right, Jake?
What could be controversial about cards? Nothing, I assume. However, in case it is, I would understand why people would say, what? That's very different from anything we've done before. It doesn't actually... I want to make sure that people understand it doesn't play that different than things we've done before. But as Garth is playing, I'm going to explain how this whole system works. And the idea is that every character has their own abilities that the player is in charge of. So they can assign whatever abilities they want to Blade, to Doctor Strange, to the Hunter. They bring all those abilities into combat.
Sí, es un combate táctico con cartas.
You're going to see all those abilities come up. But they're dealt to you as a hand of cards.
And there's some really cool card categories too, right?
Yes. So there's 3 different types of abilities that are really important. There's an attack, which Garth is there. One of the benefits of abilities, treating them as a card, is we can put like really interesting effects on them. So we have tons of them. It's another benefit is we can make so many different abilities. We can give them interesting effects. One is an attack, which Garth showed off there with Blade. The next is a skill, which he just used with Doctor Strange.
Yep.
And that is the sort of thing that is a little more, could buff your allies, could be defensive. There are different ways to use it. But ultimately, the important thing is that by playing attacks, by playing skills, you're building up a resource that we call heroism. You can see this in the...
La verdad es que
That's,
el sistema
yeah, it's a simple,
es el de un juego táctico, como por ejemplo podría ser el Yard Tactics o el... ¿cómo se llama? El Wasteland y todo eso. Pero sí que visualmente es como muy espectacular, es decir, no es el típico juego táctico. Ya os adelanto de que el hecho de que sea táctico y de cartas me echa para atrás. No sé si esto ya se confirmó en la Gamescom, pero no lo sabía, ¿eh? Me ha pillado un poco de sorpresa. Es decir, veis, los efectos y eso están muy, muy, muy chulos.
To be able to use different abilities or different effects in the environment.
So
now we're going to trigger.
yeah. Oh no, you're fine. I was gonna say, like, it seems like you have a lot of flexibility and freedom how you choose to play, like with your heroes.
Yeah, you do. I mean, the idea is that the game is meant to move pretty fast. It's still very deep.
Fuah.
That right.
La Virgen.
Person, by the way, he buried an axe in their head, and then they just were knocked
Gentle KO. Okay.
knocked out. Right?
After a few hours.
Yep.
Fine.
But also, I mean, you saw that heroic ability. Our art team and our content team and all the disciplines that have worked on it, they have created these abilities that are in your face, incredibly satisfying to watch over and over, and the payoff.
Yeah, they've really pushed the presentation of the abilities, and it's amazing to see. There are a lot of deep elements to combat here, and part of that is how different the heroes play. So we have a number of different abilities here, and in fact, actually, Garth, you can talk about what you're about to do here.
Yeah, we're going to use a special skill from the Hunter, which is going to chain on and allow us to use a very, very powerful card in our deck. So Inspire allows you to play heroic.
Te permite jugar una carta heroica.
Heroism for free. So that's what we're going to do with Hunter, and that's going to lead into this powerful ability.
Yeah, and so the hero combo, again, a big attack. The way that you unlock these abilities is actually through the Abbey. So we talk about how the relationships that you have with these heroes.
Mira eso, mira eso.
Very awesome and very powerful. You unlock these super powerful attacks by forming a relationship.
Dios, vaya habilidad
Last man standing.
ultimate, o sea, la Virgen.
Gotta go Blade.
I mean, of course.
Mira Blade.
Again, that's an encounter. You know, they play very, very fast.
Why is it that for every one of these sites we take out, it seems like two more appear?
Y las CGIs y todo están muy bien, ¿eh? Las cinemáticas, bueno, ya lo estáis viendo.
Actual Hydra. That
Lo único que es eso, es un juego de... táctico.
I live up to my name too. Hell of a price Crossbones put on your head, Runt. Too bad he never said.
¿Eso qué es? ¿Un Wolverine dopado o qué?
Well, too bad for you. Big words.
Ahí tenemos, Wolverine.
You got one thing right today, Sabretooth. Heads are definitely.
Ah, dientes de sable. Vale, vale. Caro.
Another mangy stray. You smell wrong.
compared to him,
Good point. Now I get to kill two runts with one claw. Maybe I should be paying Hydra.
Hey guys, I would be lying if I would say I'm not excited about this very iconic duo, this battle between Sabretooth and Wolverine.
Yeah, and as you saw there, just
La verdad es que ha sido muy honesto por parte de... He hecho un parón para decir esto. La verdad es que ha sido muy honesto por parte de 2K que no haya microtransacciones, porque en un juego de cartas es tan sencillo meter microtransacciones y micropagos, pero tan sencillo que me sorprende que no lo hayan hecho. De verdad, o sea, me parece que como empresa se han ganado mis respetos. Porque de verdad que es que en un juego de cartas es tan fácil hacer microtransacciones que, a pesar de todo, no lo han hecho. Han querido que todo lo que se pueda conseguir lo consiga jugando. Y eso me parece súper bien.
One of the cinematics, we have hours of cinematics in the game. Obviously, we're telling a very deep story. And part of that story, of course, is introducing these villains.
O sea, que la historia será profunda, ¿eh? O sea, ya lo están confirmando que la historia y la narrativa tendrá un peso importante en el juego.
12 Marvel heroes plus the Hunter. We also have a large cast of villains for the player to fight against. It's what makes Lilith so powerful. So again, she's the ultimate enemy. The thing that's cool about her, if you imagine.
Y veremos a ver, porque Toscan no ha hecho nunca un juego táctico. Y veremos a ver qué tal les sale.
So not only you fight villains like Sabretooth here, but you'll fight what we call Fallen, where Lilith has corrupted villains. She's corrupted even heroes that the player's gonna have to fight against over the course of the game. So yeah, very deep narrative. A lot of narrative comes out, not just through cinematics, but also you'll experience in-game as well.
Ah, mira, puede hacer un movimiento que lo que haga es empujar el carro. ¡Wow! Eso está guapo, ¿eh?
Sabretooth, kind of good at what he does. But he's, you know, he's deadly. Like, Sabretooth is a very deadly character, and so you're going to have to require your entire team to take him out. All of our villains have a bunch of unique abilities, and also a unique flair to them. Sabretooth, the idea behind Sabretooth is that he has an ability called Frenzy, and that means that every time you take an action, he may respawn, right? So you have to be really careful. You have to.
Qué guapo el tema este de poder interactuar con lo que hay en el escenario, ¿eh? Me parece guapísimo eso. Fijaros, es que interactúas con el escenario para atacar. Me parece increíble eso.
But yeah, I mean, I love Sabretooth. We've introduced, you know, here we're introducing Wolverine for the first time. This is where you meet him. This is pretty far into the game, probably. I mean, actually, this game's very long, so not that far, but this is a good 10, 12 hours into the game when you meet Wolverine and you unlock him. So there are characters you unlock through play. This is the moment when you sort of meet Wolverine for the first time. And so, again, Wolverine, a completely different playstyle, completely unique set of abilities.
Can you go into his abilities a little bit more? Like, what makes him so unique and different from the other characters?
Yeah, so if you think about Wolverine, he's very savage. He has the ability.
Mira que cuando veía el tráiler de que enseñaron en la Gamescom, pensé, buf, qué pinta tiene el juego, pero esto se va a ir para muy lejos. Y lo que están enseñando lo veo bastante pulido. Así que el año que viene probablemente lo tengamos ya, este videojuego. Porque es que lo estoy viendo y es que realmente es que está pulido, Bueno, es que creo que dijeron que para 2022, pero yo lo veo súper pulido el juego. A no ser de que sea un gameplay súper medido y súper en una zona muy concreta que la tenga muy bien hecha, a mí el juego me está dando la sensación de que está súper terminado.
But yeah, this is the problem with Sabretooth, right? Is that he just doesn't stop. And this matches how he is in the comics as well. Like, Sabretooth doesn't stop, you know?
Yep.
So you have to always kind of be on your toes here.
Alright, what are we doing, Garth? Like,
We got him.
we got him? Okay, alright, okay.
I'm actually going to
You can position yourself, use the environment.
Okay. Right.
One thing that's worth pointing out is that as you move,
Le va a lanzar la madera. Ah, no, va a saltar por encima para golpear. Y fijaros que la madera se ha roto.
And you know, the movement balance is one of my favorite parts as movement. If you play tactics, you know how critical it is. But it's this wonderful balance of you can choose to play more methodically and find that single precise movement position to take advantage of the enemies, but it's not every single turn, every single action you make that decision.
Can't heal. Have to keep going.
Doctor Strange. Ah, no, no es Doctor Strange. Me había aparecido. ¿Me suena o no?
So we saw a lot of good gameplay.
Pinta guay. Lo que más me echa para atrás era el tema del táctico, pero objetivamente hablando pinta guay. A mí lo que más me gusta sobre todo es el tema de poder interactuar con el escenario de prácticamente todo. Está muy guay eso.
We love tactics games, and changing what we did with the tactics design there wasn't enough. We wanted a whole other half of the game that was the RPG part of the tactics RPG. So we're going back to the Abbey now, and we're going to show you guys a little bit of a gameplay tease with what you can do within the Abbey. And we're going to start in the Hunter's
vamos a ir a la base, nos van a enseñar la base y lo que puedes hacer dentro de la base.
An enormous amount. Obviously, after a hard day's work, you want to go back to your place of refuge.
Right, you're wearing casual clothes, right? Many outfits. We actually have a lot of outfits that.
Vale, que habrán muchos atuendos. Me gusta.
Yeah, you gotta update the room, and yeah, there's ways to update not just the character, the room as well.
¡Ostras! El perro ese.
Of course, Charlie.
Right, your beloved hellhound Charlie, who loves you so much. You can, of course, pet the dog, and there's a lot of benefits to that as well.
Are we going to be able to explore that a little bit more?
We are, and in fact, what's happening right now is the hunter walking onto the common room after combat, and so again, this is really a social experience where after combat, all these heroes are hanging out, and you can choose from different heroes after combat to hang out with, and this is an important part of building a relationship.
It is. It's one of my favorite parts of the game. Not only do you have fun in combat, you come back, and you have a very, very important choice to make, which is a whole other part of the Marvel fantasy, right? It's not just battling amongst these heroes, it's who do you want to hang out with, Mika Maruno or Iron Man, right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of benefit to this, right? There's not just a narrative benefit as they commiserate over their terrible parents. Oh, my dad's not watching, because I can commiserate with them as well. But yeah, then
o sea, que habrá como una parte social en la cual podrás interactuar y entablar amistades con los miembros del grupo, ¿no? De superhéroes. Y tú decidirás con quién quieres tener más o menos lazos, ¿no?
And you'll be able to do that in spades in the Abbey. Uh-oh, what are we doing here, Caroline? You love the dog?
I do.
You walk your dog?
I mean, it looks like it.
Dog can walk with you.
Dog's walking, leading me somewhere special. Okay, where are we going?
So, you know, this is just one of the many things that happens on the Abbey grounds. So the Abbey grounds are very extensive, which you can explore, and you should. And this is a lot of really interesting optional content that the player can come out here, explore the grounds, uncover a lot more narrative, a lot more gameplay, and so again, we wanted this to feel like a living space, and so it's not just the interior of the Abbey, it's the exterior grounds as well that feel, you know, appropriately supernatural based on our
again, you think of the world of Marvel, it's not enough to just have a series of menus in between missions or a base that doesn't have a lot of content and substance to it, and the grounds really act as that, since they're overloaded with secrets and mysteries and deep lore to learn more, even in other corners of Marvel that you may be surprised about. The background of the
o sea que le están dando bastante importancia a la base, como un sitio donde descubrir mucha narrativa, un sitio donde poder interactuar con personajes, un sitio donde poder descubrir secretos, misterios.
Alright, well there you have it, guys. We have a little bit of gameplay, a little bit of Abbey, a lot of combat that's coming up as well. What's coming up, guys, in October, coming months?
Octubre, los próximos meses.
So we want to dive deep on some of the characters, like start to show more about these characters, and then show more gameplay. We just hinted at it with the combat and the Abbey, so we want to show more of that in the coming months.
Awesome. Well, I'm pretty sure everyone's looking forward to it. Thank you so much, guys, both Jake and Gar.
Bueno, esto han sido lo que han querido mostrar. La verdad es que el juego se ve muy bien. Es decir, lo que más me echaba atrás es que sea táctico. Quizás eso es lo que menos me ha gustado, porque yo soy muy malo en los juegos tácticos, lo tengo que reconocer, soy tremendamente malo. Pero bueno, lo que sí que es verdad es que el juego tiene muy buena pinta. Entonces le seguiré la pista. Me interesa mucho y seguiremos viendo gameplay. Y eso, ya os digo, lo que más me ha gustado es las cinemáticas, que parece que están muy bien conseguidas. Me ha gustado mucho que parece que la narrativa tendrá un peso importantísimo y eso me gusta mucho. También me ha gustado mucho el tema de cómo interactúan los personajes con el propio escenario, ¿no? Cómo puedes lanzar cosas que hay por el escenario, cómo puedes interactuar con ellas. Eso me interesa y me gusta mucho. Por lo demás, pues bueno, habrá que seguir siguiéndole la pista a este juego. Veremos a ver qué nos van presentando. Dejadme en los comentarios qué pensáis acerca de este juego, si os interesa, si no os interesa, si sois como yo y los juegos de tácticos ni fu ni fa. Cualquier cosa me la dejéis en los comentarios que yo os voy leyendo. Y como he dicho al principio, suscribiros, darle a me gusta, eso es lo más importante. Seguirme en Twitter, uniros en el canal de Discord, podéis haceros miembros, todo lo tenéis en la descripción de este vídeo, así que id y le echáis un ojo. Y señores, nos vemos en otro vídeo. Hasta luego.